Problem solving is a process of finding solutions to difficult or complex issues, while reasoning is the action of thinking about something in a logical, sensible way. Problem solving requires both an ability to correctly define a problem and finding a solution to it. Problem solving may help us find out how to cope with various problems, as well as teach us how to think more critically visions of the importance of being able to consider many instances. Reasoning is a practice of stating ideas clearly and precisely to arrive at a conclusion. In our life, we often make judgment and conclusion based on facts and observation. Today, we will discuss the different kinds of reasoning, which is intuition, analogy, inductive reasoning, deductive reasoning, and lastly, converses, together with their examples. Good day, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. This is Marian Nicole Libre, and you are watching from TS123 Weekend Update. And now we are going to interview the 6 newscasters from different regions about the topic of intuition, analogy, inductive, deductive, and converses, together with their examples. May I call the first newscaster from Region 11, Miss Nicole Libre. Good morning. Good morning. Hashtag intuition reasoning. So what is intuition reasoning? Intuition is a process that gives us the ability to know something directly without analytic reasoning, bridging the gap between consciousness and non-consciousness part of our mind, and also between instinct and reason. It's also similar to guessing. In intuition, we use our common sense by guessing or reasoning. An intuition is the ability to acquire knowledge without proof, evident, consciousness reasoning, and without understanding how the knowledge acquired. How important are intuitions in our life? In conclusion, it seems that intuition is important for human judgment, behavior, and sound decisions might come from a balance of reasoning and intuition. Intuition is important because it provides us with a gut response, an inner voice beyond logic and learned responses, revealing who we are and the knowledge we have gained. Example, in comparing two fractions with the same numerator, one said you can subtract the numerator from the denominator and the smaller difference is the larger fraction. When you look at figure A and B, you will already know which one is bigger by using your intuition and without actually measuring it.
Hello guys, I am Ferdan James F. Mula and I am discussing the topic of analogy. Analogy means a comparison between two things typically for the purpose of explanation or clarification. An analogy between the workings of nature and those of human societies. A correspondence or partial similarity. The syndrome is called deep dysgraphia because of its analogy to deep dyslexia, a thing which is comparable to something else in significant respects. Work of art were seen as an analogy for works of nature. For example, iPhone and Samsung. Both mobile phones have a sophisticated camera, very clear screen, and state-of-the-art applications. The differences between the two smartphones are the operating system in which Samsung uses Android while iPhone uses iOS. In terms of prices, there are iPhone models which are costly than Samsung and vice versa.
Good day, I am Marjorie Javier, the reporter for today. So my report will be inductive reasoning. But first, let's define our inductive reasoning. Makes broad generalization from specific observations. So for example, you're in a certain place like Watson. And we all know that Watson sell makeup products and skincare products. And you assume or come up with the conclusion that all girls loves Watson. But that's only based from your observation. The other definition is the process of gathering specific information, usually through observation and measurement, and then making a conjecture based on the gathered information. So let's proceed to the solution. Take note that the sum is the square of the number of odd numbers being added. So here is the example. Use inductive reasoning to predict the number. So the given number is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12. And if you noticed, in this number are given number. So meaning the number 12 is the next number will be 14. And based on our observation, each successive number is an even number. So our answer is 14.
Deductive reasoning. Deductive reasoning is a logical process in which a conclusion is based on concordance of multiple premises that are generally assumed to be true. Deductive reasoning is sometimes referred to as top-down logic, and deductive reasoning relies on making logic premises and basing a conclusion around those premises. It is also the process of showing that certain statements follow logically from agreed upon assumed and proven the fact. Example number 1. 4 times 3x minus 8 plus 5 equals x to negative 5. 12x minus 32 plus 5 equals x negative 5. 12x minus 27 equals x negative 5. 11 minus 27 equals x to negative 5. 11x equals 22. So therefore, x are 2. Example number 2. All birds have a feathers. All robin are birds. So therefore, robin have feathers.
I am reporter Joshua, and I'll be reporting about if-then statements and converse. But first, let me define a few terms that you need to know about. So number 1 is conditional. So conditional is a statement in mathematics that consists of a hypothesis and a conclusion. These statements are usually written in if-then form. Number 2 is hypothesis. So the hypothesis of a conditional states that the given facts are assumed as true. This is found in the if part of the conditional. Number 3 is conclusion. So the conclusion of a conditional states what needs to be proven or established or true. So this is found in the then part of the conditional. Number 4 is a converse. So a converse of a given conditional is formed when the if and then parts are reversed. And lastly, you need to know is biconditional. So biconditional is a statement that combines a conditional and its converse with the phrase if and only if. Now, let me give you an example. So what I'll be doing is I'll be transforming the conditional statement vertical angles are congruent to an if-then form, and I will also point out the hypothesis and the conclusion. So the if-then form is if 2 vertical angles are given, then they are congruent. The hypothesis is 2 vertical angles are congruent, and lastly, the conclusion is 2 vertical angles are congruent. That's it for my report.
So what is a converse statement? So it is a statement obtained by reversing the hypothesis and conclusion of a conditional statement is called the converse statement. So a conditional statement is an if-then statement. If blank, then blank, and if hypothesis, then conclusion. So if P, which is the hypothesis, and Q, which is the conclusion, so what is the converse? So the converse is in reverse. So if Q, then P, reversing the hypothesis and conclusion. Not because the conditional statement is true doesn't necessarily mean that the converse will be also true. So here's an example. If you study, then you will get a good grade. So what would be in converse or in reverse? So if you get a good grade, then you studied. But it's not that necessarily true, right? You can also get a good grade because your teacher made the test easier or you're actually great at math.
Example 3. A line is a bisector of a segment if it intersects the segment at its midpoint. 3 points are coplanar if they contain in the same plane. Solution 1. It is conditional if a line is bisector of a segment, then it intersects the segment at its midpoint. It is a converge if the line intersects the segment at its midpoint, then the line is a bisector of the segment. Solution 2. Conditional if 3 points are coplanar, then they are contained in the same place. It is called converge if the 3 points are contained in the same plane, then they are coplanar.
I know you lie in her